Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. We're from group 9, include me, Melinda Susila, and then my friends, Dwi Mustikasari and Suci Ratnawati. We would like to present our discussion about the cooperative principle and implicator. And the first material is about the cooperative principle. What is actually cooperative principle? Yule explained that the cooperative principle is a basic assumption that people in conversation will cooperate by making their contribution as informative, truthful, relevant, and clear as required from the purpose of the interaction. Cooperative principle is the assumption that speakers and listeners normally try to cooperate with each other in order to make a conversational success by saying things that are truthful, relevant, clear, and appropriately informative. Yule then summarized the idea using H.B. Greer's cooperative principle. Make your conversational contribution such as required at the stage at which it occurs by the accepted purpose or direction of the thought exchange in which you are engaged. This means that a speaker's contribution should fit the purpose and context of the conversation. And when we talk to each other, we expect that our partner will give enough information, tell the truth, stay relevant, and speak clearly. Alright, please take a look at the picture. This is the example of mere understanding in communication. There are the men and the women, and the man, does your dog bite? And then the women answer no. And then the man reached to the pet to pet the dog, and the dog pets him. The man reaction is, ouch, you said your dog doesn't bite. And then the woman said, he doesn't, but that's not my dog. So here, the misunderstanding happens because the man assumes that the woman's no applies to the dog in front of them. The woman's answer was true, but less informative than expected. She did not mention that the dog was not hers. Next is for maxim of cooperative principle. A maxim is a principle or standard of communication that guides how people should speak to ensure misunderstanding and cooperation in conversation. In simple words, maxims tell us how to talk in a way that helps others understand us easily. The first, we have maxim of quantity. Give as much information as needed but no more. Example, where's the station? And then 2 blocks ahead. Next is maxim of quality. Be truthful, don't say what you believe is false or what you lack evidence for. Example, is it raining? Yes, I just saw people with umbrellas. Next is maxim of relation. The rules is be relevant, say things related to the topic. Example, I'm hungry. Let's get lunch. Next is maxim of manner. The rules is be clear, avoid obscurity, ambiguity, and unnecessary words. Be orderly. Example, how do I get there? You have to turn right after the bridge, then left at the traffic light. Alright, so that's all from me, and next material will be delivered by Dwi.
Okay, and the next material is about hedges. In everyday communication, people don't always speak with complete certainty, full clarity, or perfect relevance. To maintain cooperation, speakers often use hedges, expressions that soften statements and signal uncertainty, politeness, or limited knowledge. Hedges allow speakers to show that they are trying to follow Greece cooperative principle, even when their statements may not fully meet its maxims. Let's explore how hedges relate to each maxim. The first one, maxim of quality. The maxim of quality requires speakers to say only what they believe is true. Hedges linked to quality help speakers show that they are not entirely certain. For example, as far as I know, the meeting has been rescheduled to Tuesday. Here, the speaker wants to share information but isn't completely sure. By adding the hedge, they protect themselves from giving false information. Another example is I may be mistaken, but I think the train leaves from platform 5. This hint signals uncertainty and invites the listener to double check the information. It also adds politeness and humility. The second, maxim of quantity. This maxim requires speakers to provide information that is not too much and not too little. Consider the statement. We face a lot of unexpected delays. To cut a long story short, we missed the flight. The hitch helps the speaker avoid unnecessary details and go straight to the point. Another example is I won't bore you with all the details, but the project was a success. Here, the speaker acknowledges that more information exists, but choose to limit it for the listener convenience. And the third, maxim of relation. The maxim of relation requires relevance. For instance, the cafe was too noisy and the coffee was bad. Anyway, what did you think of the presentation? The hitch anyway serves to redirect the conversation back to the relevant topic. Another example is the report is due tomorrow. Oh, by the way, did you see the email from the director? The phrase, by the way, signals a shift to a slightly different topic while maintaining conversational coherence. And the last one is maxim of manner. This maxim requires clarity and order lines. Take the example. This may be a bit confusing, but I think the client wants us to combine the two proposals. The hitch acknowledges possible ambiguity in the speaker's explanation. It prepares the listener to be patient and aware that the speaker is trying their best to communicate clearly. So, in short, hedges are powerful tools in communication. They help speakers remain cooperative, respectful, and considerate, even when they are uncertain, unclear, or shifting topics. Understanding hedges not only improves our pragmatic awareness, but also helps us navigate conversations more effectively.
Okay, the last material is conversational implicator. According to Gray's theory, conversational implicator is an implicator that arises in a specific context of use, without forming part of the characteristic of the word or conversational force. Conversational implicator is an additional meaning that arises in conversational that is not directly stated, but is understood by the listener based on the context and principle of cooperation in communication. This means that speaker often conveys something implicitly and applicable rules of conversation. Okay, the next is types of conversational implicator. The first is generalized conversational implicator. This type occurs without requiring a specific context. Listener can understand the meaning based on general rules in the language, not because of specific situation factor. And the second is particulars conversational implicator. This type depends on the specific context. This means that to understand the additional meaning, we need to know the situation and the relationship between the speaker and the listener. Okay, the next is example. The first is generalized conversational implicator. Jadi yang pertama, terdapat kondisi di dalam kelas ada anak perempuan yang bertanya kepada anak laki-laki, dia baru datang ya? Dan anak laki-laki tersebut menjawab, enggak, dia dari toilet tadi. Jadi secara tidak langsung anak laki-laki mengatakan bahwa yang ditanyakan tersebut sudah datang dari tadi. The next atau yang kedua is particularis conversational implicator. Konteksnya anak perempuan mengatakan atau bertanya, dia baru datang ya? Lalu anak laki-laki menjawab, banyak bocor tadi. Secara tidak langsung anak laki-laki menjawab bahwa yang ditanyakan memang baru datang, baru saja, namun dia baru datang karena banyak bocor. Dan yang terakhir tersebut secara tidak langsung mengatakan situasi kalau yang ditanyakan tersebut baru datang karena banyak bocor. Oke, cukup sekian. Terima kasih dari kami. Apabila ada kesalahan, kami dari grup 9 mengucapkan maaf yang sebesar-besarnya. Thank you for watching. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.